Why resting makes you feel guilty and how to change it. Imagine this scene. You sit down on the couch. Finally, 5 minutes without notifications, without emails, without anyone asking you for anything. And just when your body begins to relax, that voice appears. You should be doing something productive. You haven't done enough today. Resting right now is being lazy. Sound familiar? If resting generates guilt, restlessness, or the feeling that you're wasting time, I want you to know something from the start. You aren't broken, you aren't weak, and you don't lack discipline. What is happening to you has a very clear psychological and biological explanation, and most importantly, it can be changed. In this video, we're going to look at why resting makes you feel guilty, where that uncomfortable sensation comes from, and how to start resting without feeling like you're failing as a person. The great misunderstanding. Resting is the opposite of moving forward. Many of us grew up with a very deep, almost invisible idea. Your personal value is measured by what you do, produce, or achieve. If you produce, you're worthy. If you don't produce, something is wrong with you. So when you stop, even for a moment, your brain doesn't interpret it as rest, it interprets it as danger, as if you were letting your guard down in an unforgiving world. But here comes the first important revelation. Guilt while resting is not a sign of laziness, it's a sign of conditioning. It's not that you don't know how to rest, it's that your nervous system learned that stopping is not safe. Where does that guilt come from? A psychological perspective. Let's break it down. Guilt when resting usually has 3 main roots. 1, you learned that love is earned through effort. Maybe no one told you directly, but you felt it. You were valued when you performed well, when you were responsible, when you didn't cause trouble. And little by little, your mind created this equation. If I work hard, I deserve. If I rest, I'm failing. The problem is that this equation doesn't stay in childhood. It becomes an internal voice that accompanies you your whole life. A voice that doesn't let you enjoy rest because it confuses it with neglect. 2, you live in a culture that glorifies burnout. We live in the era of being always busy. Lack of sleep is a symbol of commitment. Resting is seen as a luxury. Being tired looks like a badge of honor. And when something becomes culturally normalized, the brain internalizes it as a moral norm. So even though you rationally know that resting is healthy, emotionally you feel like you're doing something wrong, as if you were breaking an unwritten rule. 3, your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. And here we enter the more biological part. When you spend a long time under stress, high demands, or constant pressure, your sympathetic nervous system, the one for doing, solving, enduring, stays turned on. It's like an engine revving at maximum speed. In that state, resting feels uncomfortable, not pleasant. Not because rest is bad, but because your body no longer knows how to be calm. And then guilt, restlessness, and anxiety appear as a way to return to what is familiar: doing, moving, producing. The big truth that almost no one explains to you: resting is not just a mental decision, it is a physiological state. It's not enough to tell yourself, I have permission to rest, if your body remains on high alert. That's why many people try to rest and can't. Or they rest, but they don't enjoy it. It's not a lack of willpower, it's a lack of regulation.
What happens in your brain when you rest, and why is it so necessary? When you truly rest, not just stop, but relax, incredible things happen. The brain consolidates memory. Emotional information is reorganized. The immune system strengthens. Creativity increases. The body repairs tissues and regulates hormones. In other words, rest is not lost time. It is integration time. It's like closing open tabs in your mental browser. Without rest, you accumulate unfinished processes, and that generates emotional fatigue, irritability, and a sense of emptiness.
So, why does resting feel so bad? Because your brain learned to associate it with risk, loss of control, lack of personal value. So guilt doesn't appear to punish you, it appears to protect you, according to old lessons learned. The problem is that this protection no longer serves you.
Key reframing. Resting is also a form of responsibility. I want you to hold on to this idea. Resting is not abandoning your life. It is sustaining it. Imagine your energy is a bank account. If you only spend and never deposit, you aren't productive. You are reckless. Rest is not the opposite of commitment. It is part of your commitment to yourself.
Tool 1. Change the type of rest. Not all rest is calming. Here is something very important. Not all rest regulates the nervous system. Lying down with your phone, endlessly consuming social media, or watching stimulating content doesn't always provide rest. Sometimes it just changes the type of exhaustion. Try rests that send a clear signal of safety to the body. Slow, deep breathing. Walking without a goal. Soft music. Slow stretching. Contact with nature. Silence. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. That's normal. It's your nervous system learning something new.
Tool 2. Scheduled breaks to reduce guilt. Guilt is reduced when rest stops feeling forbidden. A practical way is to schedule it, not as a punishment or a reward, but as part of the plan. Example, I work for 90 minutes and rest for 10. Not when I finish everything, but because it is necessary. This gives the brain a structure, and structure reduces anxiety.
Tool 3. Redefine your identity. This is key. Many define themselves this way. I'm the one who can always do it. The responsible one. The productive one. And resting threatens that identity. That's why it hurts. Start introducing a new internal narrative. I am someone who takes care of themselves. I am someone who is sustainable. I am someone who doesn't burn out. It's not just semantics. It's emotional re-education.
Tool 4. Work on self-compassion without becoming complacent. Self-compassion isn't about stopping growth. It's about stopping the mistreatment of yourself in order to grow. When guilt appears while resting, try telling yourself, "This is hard for me because I learned something else. There is nothing wrong with needing a break. I am learning a new way of living." Talking to yourself this way regulates you more than any technique.
Important warnings. If you have ADHD, chronic anxiety, complex trauma, or high sensitivity, rest can trigger more discomfort at first. In those cases, the work must be gradual. Micro breaks, brief pauses, therapeutic support if possible. Don't compare yourself to someone who seems to rest easily. Every nervous system has its own history.
Something no one tells you, but you need to hear. You don't have to earn the right to rest. You don't have to be exhausted to stop. You don't have to justify your tiredness. Resting is not a reward. It is a biological necessity.
A new relationship with rest. If resting makes you feel guilty today, don't judge yourself for it. Observe it. That guilt is a sign that you lived a long time under high demands, and now you are learning something different. Let's recap. Guilt when resting is learned, not innate. It has psychological, cultural, and biological roots. Rest regulates, integrates, and allows you to sustain yourself. Changing this relationship is possible, step by step. My invitation is simple. Today, give yourself 5 minutes of conscious rest. without justifying it, without doing anything productive afterward, just being, and observe what happens. Thank you for staying until the end and for allowing yourself these minutes to understand your process. Resting is also an act of courage. I would love for this video to be the start of a conversation. What is that voice that appears for you when you try to stop? Do you feel like you have to earn the right to do nothing? I'll read your thoughts in the comments. Sharing our experiences is what helps us understand that we aren't alone in this. If these words gave you a bit of room to breathe today, I invite you to give it a like so the algorithm understands that this kind of relief is necessary for more people. And if you know someone who lives with their engine always running, share this video with them. Sometimes the permission we can't give ourselves comes to us through someone else. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue building this safe space to inhabit our bodies. Remember, resting is not abandoning your life, it is sustaining it, and you deserve to be sustained. I'll see you in the next video. Sending you a hug.